Ladies and gentlemen, Vice Admiral Ted Carter.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the United States Naval Academy. I want to give a special warm welcome to our distinguished graduates of the past. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, faculty, staff, coaches, class members of our distinguished graduates, and maybe most importantly, the Brigade of Midshipmen, and of course, our 2019 selectees from the Alumni Association of the prestigious Distinguished Graduate Award. Welcome to each and every one of you.
How many times can you say thank you? Good afternoon, shipmates and guests. It's truly an honor to be here and selected for the Distinguished Graduate Award. I'm most humbled, appreciative, and thankful. It's a recognition of a lifetime, and one that I will always cherish. But I want to start by speaking directly to the midshipmen. I want you to think about a number, 21,843. So I was sworn in as a midshipman in June 1955. The Academy instilled many good values over those 4 years, and I graduated on June 3rd, 1959. So as I stand here today, it has been exactly, you guessed it, 21,843 days since my graduation. That's a pile of days, isn't it? Whether you believe it or not, I can remember every one of them. That's nearly 60 years ago. Since I was in your shoes, strolling through the yard and thinking about what my future might be. I could hardly imagine all that I would experience or try to accomplish during that length of time. But it really turns out you can do a lot in 21,843 days. You better. The Academy provides many wonderful career opportunities to serve our great country with honor, courage, and commitment. In 1963, President Kennedy spoke in Bancroft Hall, in front of Bancroft Hall. What he said that day is true today for everyone attending this remarkable institution. He said, and I quote, "Anyone who may be asked in this century what they did to make their life worthwhile can say with a great deal of pride and satisfaction, I served in the United States Navy." Thank you.
From grilled cheese sandwich business to restricting most of second class year to distinguished graduate. You can't make this up. Look, regarding my 4 years here, I gotta be honest with you. I was not a model midshipman. That's the truth. In fact, I probably couldn't be classified as a model prisoner. However, in addition to terrific staff and professors here and a demanding curriculum, I know I benefited so much from what I learned here, not only from the classroom, but also from my classmates. That is a great lesson for the midshipmen today. Now, midshipmen, I'd like to give you an example of what you should expect when you graduate from this institution and go and join the fleet in the Fleet Marine Force. About a month into training, I learned that one of our third-class petty officers could just barely swim. That's not good. So I got with our chief, Chief Comer, and said, "Chief, you need to incentivize that young man." So sure enough, by the time our training was done, that man was able to swim 2 lengths of the pool with full combat gear and a flak jacket. So he qualified, off we went. Well, 3 months into that deployment, on one very early morning in a canal, our 24-foot boat was hit with 3 B-40 RPGs and automatic weapons fire. As you heard on the video, everyone was killed or wounded in the boat, and then 2 were killed later in the water while swimming. And later, our non-swimmer petty officer, who happens to be Petty Officer Johnny Williams, while under fire on his own initiative, swam back to the boat, climbed aboard, and manned the boat's only .50 caliber machine gun. He suppressed the enemy's fire with successive bursts through 2 boxes of ammunition. The barrel was red hot and smoking. Johnny Williams did his duty and more. He probably saved the lives of the rest of the crew, who by this time were on the bank of the canal. Our non-swimmer happened to fly back here today from Arizona to be with us and to share this honor. Obviously, Petty Officer Williams is a huge part of this award, as are all our teammates. I got to tell you, though, he's still not a very good swimmer. Midshipmen, I know you too will have the honor of serving with great men and women like Johnny Williams. I'm confident you will embrace the opportunity and you will make our country and this institution proud of you. Lastly, for all my fellow alumni, including midshipmen, I want you to know that it has also been a distinct honor and pleasure for me to be able to give back over the past few years in support of this institution, our Alumni Association, and our foundation. I heartily commend it to each and every one of you. Lastly, in closing, I really mean this: beat Army.
Here at the Naval Academy, you cannot get anything done in your life of any meaning or substance without the help of others. And frankly, I learned that plebe summer. I couldn't have gotten through plebe summer without my roommates. And kind of like Admiral Natter, I was not a model midshipman. I wasn't a star athlete. I wasn't a striper. I wasn't very good in academics. I graduated with a GPA of 2.22. I remember reporting into the Naval Postgraduate School, and I had to go in and see the chairman of the electrical engineering department. He looks up at me and said, "I got to tell you, Lieutenant Hammerstein, this is the most humble undergraduate record I have ever seen." What are you going to do? Despite all that, my classmates nominated me. And they know me. That's not what it was. You see, they know something, frankly, that you all don't know yet. It's not how you start. It's what you do after you start. You know, I thought I knew what leadership was about. But frankly, I went through the 4 years here with a philosophy that better was the enemy of good enough. good enough ain't good enough. When you get your first platoon of Marines, your first assignment in the fleet, aboard ship, aboard your boat, your first squadron assignment, I can tell you right now, those 18 and 19-year-old sailors and Marines, good enough ain't good enough. I had to work very, very hard, as it turned out. I liked it. And if you do what you've been taught here, you're going to like it too. I'm very proud to have received this extraordinary honor. I wish my dad were here. He wouldn't quite understand it, because he was the one that, when I resigned, plebe year, talked me into staying. God, am I thankful. Super Fidelis, and good luck in the fleet. Thank you.
Set on the prospect of attending a military academy, my dad and I flew to Baltimore to visit the yard in the dead of winter. And despite the lack of scenery, when I saw "Beat Army" scribbled on the side of a Poseidon missile, I was hooked. I'm so honored to have been nominated by my classmates. When you consider the sum of accomplishments by a graduating class of nearly 1,000 alumni of the Naval Academy, it's impossible to imagine that only a few of them will ever stand here, when so many of them are deserving. If my Navy experience was any example, you'll be amazed by the transformation that you're about to undergo when you're no longer a midshipman, but suddenly a Navy or Marine Corps officer with a mission. Some of that wonder comes from the jump from student to working class military, where you'll suddenly confront responsibility to and for others, sailors and Marines who will now look to you. In whatever capacity you serve, you'll give and receive more if you become steeped in its history, its science, and its art. Your ability as a warfighter or later a business leader will be a reflection of your professional competency. I learned that at Top Gun, the Navy School of Advanced Tactics, where every minute of every day was devoted to developing the best aviators, equipping them with skills to not only fight and win, but to teach and learn and keep on learning. You're in for the ride of your life if you approach it that way. I didn't know that I would eventually serve 39 years, but then I didn't know after I left the academy that I'd enjoy flying in command so much, that I would be so well supported by Donna and my family, and that I would be surrounded by such men and women as those with whom we serve. Thank you all very much.
And I'll be honest with you, it is very surreal to be up here, because in so many ways, I've never stopped thinking of myself as that wide-eyed 10-year-old who, like millions of people around the world, sat in front of a black and white television at home and watched Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin to get out and walk on the moon for the first time. And that wide-eyed 10-year-old became a starry-eyed 10-year-old with a big dream. And it was a dream that has pushed and propelled me for decades. But I also have to be honest and tell you that I somewhat selfishly came to the Naval Academy with the hope of that dream coming true, because I knew that many astronauts had already graduated from the Naval Academy. And thanks to the tremendous education I got here, the amazing opportunities that I was afforded, I left after graduation thinking that I had a pretty good chance of making that dream come true. But the Naval Academy has had a much more profound impact on my life than just helping me achieve that dream. As you heard, I'm third generation. So from my earliest memories, I have been shaped by the Naval Academy and the principles it instills in everyone who goes here. And all I've ever tried to do is live by those principles and the lessons I learned as a young officer. And in my years of life, I've also learned that the things that you work hardest for are the things that bring the greatest reward in your life. Like spending 25 years in pursuit of a dream. And getting to start that dream by riding a rocket and going up into space. And then being able to look out the window of your spacecraft back at your home planet. That's about as good as it gets. So for the Brigade of Midshipmen, let me leave you with this. Don't settle for what's easy. Push yourself to do what's hard. Be part of the solution and make a difference. Thank you.